Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
11 people killed due to adverse weather. Rain continues. President reiterates the government is committed to the welfare of those affected. Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca questions why Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not in custody for the misappropriation of 91 million rupees. Woman connected with underworld shot dead in Kottava. Negligence of officials resulted in human-elephant conflict. Another 6 suspects remanded over the killing of Tusker Galgamuwe Dalaputwa.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shayan Silva.
And I'm Nanel J. Woodman. After 2 days of turbulent weather, we now go over to the newsroom for the latest update on the situation from Joel Outskun.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Now, over the past few days, Sri Lanka has been experiencing some extreme weather conditions, and owing to this situation, a number of persons have been affected. Let me quickly shift your attention to the numbers. Now, 11 deaths have been reported, with 5 missing, 26 injured, 901 displaced, 61,125 affected, with 481 houses fully damaged and over 15,000 plus houses partially damaged. And shifting attention a little bit on to the areas which recorded the highest rainfall, 150.2 millimeters in the Katendol area in Galle, with 118 millimeters of rain experience in Moriavatta and 117.9 millimeters in the Galle town. We would now like to give you an overview of the weather pattern as of now. As you could see, this is the depression which was affecting Sri Lanka over the past few hours. However, the meteorologists and the satellite images show that this depression has now moved away from Sri Lanka and heading towards the Arabic Sea, and it is situated about 684 kilometers away from the island. Now, the other developing news here in the island, and also a lot of people started talking about it, will there be a second cyclone affecting Sri Lanka? Will there be a depression which will affect Sri Lanka? Well, images on satellite show that there is yet another depression building in the Andaman area. This cyclone or this depression will not directly hit Sri Lanka in the coming few days. However, it will move in this direction, which is it will have an impact on the Bay of Bengal. However, it would head towards India. So now those are the latest statistics coming out as of this satellite images which we are receiving. Now, when we at News First spoke to the Disaster Management Center and also the Department of Meteorology, they said that this showery and windy conditions will come to rest. However, at times there will be strong winds and showers experienced over the island. Departments also added that if you take during the last 100 years, that it is only 16 such cyclones which have affected the island. Let me also take you to some other stats. Now, the Disaster Management Center reports that a landslide warning issued to Ratnapura, Nuwara, Kalutara districts will still be in effect, and the DMC has said that red alerts to many areas in the Ratnapura and Badulla areas have been put in place, and the area residents are requested to take precaution owing to these conditions. So now this is the latest information that we are receiving from the departments on this extreme weather situation. We'll definitely keep you posted on the latest, and also for more log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. That's it from the Weather Centre here at News First. Back to the studio.
Well, thank you, Joel. In more weather-related news, the death toll as a result of the adverse weather has risen to 11, with the Disaster Management Centre reporting 26 weather-related injuries. 5 people are currently reported missing as torrential rainfall continues to batter many areas.
A 72-year-old man died when an earth embankment collapsed in Kamrupitiya, Mathura. A woman seriously injured in the incident was rushed to the Mathura General Hospital. Our correspondent reports a house suffered serious damage following a landslide in the same area. 9 families at risk due to possible landslides in the Miyala Hill in Hakmana were evacuated to safety today.
Bodies of 2 fishermen reported missing after going to sea from the Dodamdua Fisheries Harbour have washed up on the Totagamua beach this afternoon. The dead fishermen were aged 55 and 56 from Dodamdua and Paralia. According to the DMC, 7 boats which set off to sea from Dodamdua remain missing.
Several low-lying areas in Ambalangoda and Gonapinuala in the Galle district remain inundated. Soldiers cleared an uprooted tree that caused traffic congestion in Akurala on the Galle-Colombo main road. 30 families have been instructed to evacuate to safety due to the risk of landslide in Pitapula in Boralanda. 97 families in Mediabadda housed at the Makandati factory in Poonagala due to the risk of landslides. The Haldumula Divisional Secretariat is involved in providing them with basic necessities.
Dankatia, which is located along the Tangol-Virakatia main road, remains inundated following the Kirama Oya breaking its banks. The Walasmulla-Beliat road is also underwater due to the Kongal-Ara waterway breaking its banks. Vehicular movement along the Akurasa-Pitabadra road in Panadugama was at a standstill due to rising water levels of the Nilwala river in Mathura. 60 houses in Hitatia were submerged due to the continuous rainfall. Reports from Mathura suggest there could be possible flood situation as water levels of the upper area of the Nilwala river had reached spill level.
10 families are facing a difficulty as a concrete stairway adjacent to the old Galle road in Baligama collapsed. The area surrounding the Kokmadu interchange on the southern expressway remains inundated. In addition, the following areas are flooded: the Badegama road in Galle, the Dangidar area, the Damaduwa road in the Ambatalevatta area, and the Dikumura road in Alpahala area. Several low-lying areas in Badegama Galle are also submerged. The heavy rainfall resulted in water levels of the Ging River in flooding areas such as Imbulpitiya, Alludavilla, Kutyavatta, Pogahavilla and Heenmalia.
One spill gate of the Kotmale reservoir was opened due to the continuous rainfall. It is reported the Vimala Surendra reservoir is also releasing excess water. 333 people have been displaced following the Keselgamu Oya breaking its banks. They have been temporarily moved to the Norwood Tamil Mahavidyalaya, while locals and the Ambagamua Divisional Secretariat are providing them with the necessities. 2 of the 8 spill gates of the Dadru Oya reservoir have been opened 6 inches each, with the water gauge reading 70.6 meters.
7 houses in Mahilangani in Chavakacheri, Jaffna were damaged due to strong winds and heavy rainfall. The families of those houses have been moved to temporary shelters. Our correspondent said water levels of many reservoirs have risen as a result of the continuous rainfall that affected the north.
President Maithripala Sirisena presented 191 letters of appointment to new recruits of the Department of Labour today. The President took the opportunity to reiterate the government's commitment to addressing welfare of all those affected by the adverse weather.
Several lives were lost as a result of the natural disasters, which includes gale winds and floods. This is a moment we as the government and public are shocked over the loss of life and property. Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected. The government is committed to address their welfare and other needs. The 3 armed forces, Sri Lanka Police, Civil Defence Force and the government officers have rendered immense service during natural disasters, and their efforts must be appreciated.
UNP activists in Rambuka were made aware of party activities at a meeting presided by Minister of Regional Development, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca.
The people are protected by the law than ever before. That is why recently Gotabaya Rajapaksa was able to obtain a court order to temporarily prevent him from being arrested. When we were taken to court, there were no such orders. I was not taken to any court. I was directly dragged into the remand prison. I was given only 1 meal a day. I was trapped in a 10 by 10 room and was denied any opportunity to step out of that room. The courts are now giving orders. I do not agree with the order given on Gotabaya Rajapaksa. I am not disregarding the judiciary, but I do not accept that order. 91 million rupees in public funds were used by a person to build a memorial for his late parents without any agreement. But now he says there was an agreement with the UDA verbally and it was not documented. Can public funds be used in such a manner without any documented agreement? In such a backdrop, he was able to obtain orders to prevent his arrest. I sometimes feel, did we bring in good governance too soon? Posters were pasted all over the country to apprehend my son-in-law on site with a cash reward of 10 million rupees. This was because I contested for the presidential election. The people who committed such acts now claim their families are being hunted. My son-in-law was in hiding for 5 years because of that. The Rajapaksas now claim they cannot eat or drink. I think the food he eats won't digest at all because of all the problems in his mind. We do not have medication for that. He is not recognizable at all. When I see him in Parliament, I feel pity on him. I pray no one else experiences such a fate. In fact, I feel sad when I see him, his son and his wife. Wasim Tajuddin was an innocent youth who was the vice captain of the national rugby team. He was murdered in cold blood. When the killing took place, the wife was making around 53 phone calls to the police. What is so serious that you need to speak to the OIC? These calls were in one night within a matter of hours. There is direct involvement. Yet the media attack only us. I am not sure if Hiru or Dharana are here. No matter how many cameras are placed here, when they go back, their heads only want to bring back the Rajapaksas. The heads of those institutions only attack us. Back then, cameras were smashed on the ground, media institutions were set ablaze, and people like Lasantha and Eknaligoda were assassinated. They have forgotten that and want to return to that era. We request the media not to harm the efforts that we made to build a just society for the people of this country. Hiru should be called something else. Devana also causes massive harm to the nation. Sometimes we use the media ethics to an extreme. We witnessed how the media was used in the past.
A program to give away school equipment to students in Epawala took place under the auspices of UNP Mihintale electorate organizer Sanjeeva Senbiratna.
We have passed an era where Appachi would send billions when the son says he wants to play rugby. International teams would be brought in for the son to play. When the younger fellow says he wants to send rockets to the moon, again billions would be spent to fulfill that desire. The third one says he wants a TV channel and he gets a ownerless TV channel. When they want to have car races around the temple of the tooth relic, that too would be done along with the Russian beauties, with minimum clothing selling beer. They disregarded the protest of the chief prelates.
A foundation stone for the pavilion of the Akallegam Sports Ground in Epawala was laid by Sanjeeva Senviratna.
42-year-old Manjula Sandhuni was shot dead in a house in Kottawa. It was inside her salon that a driver, a former parliamentarian, Duminda Silva, was gunned down in January this year.
The driver Tamil Bandara Dharmasiri alias Banda was killed on the 17th of January 2017 by two gunmen on a motorbike. Police said the driver was wanted for 2 homicides and attempted murder and was evading court. He was a confidant of notorious underworld figure Ango de Lokka. Investigations reveal the slain woman was once in remand custody and maintained contact via telephone with a group led by another underworld figure known as Samayan, who was also killed in February this year. She was charged over maintaining contact with criminals, remanded and thereafter was released on bail. Manjula Sandhuni was killed on returning home from attending a trial relating to financial transactions held at the Kaduwala Magistrates Court. 2 masked gunmen had arrived at her house at around 8:40 last night and opened fire. 14 bullets were found in her body. Her mother and 2 children were also at home. 6 more suspects were arrested in Morogolagama in Siamalawa over the killing of the tusker Galgamwe Dalaputwa. Police have arrested a total of 8 suspects so far over the incident.
The 6 suspects, all between the ages of 20 to 43 and residents of Morugallagama, Siamalawa, were arrested last evening during a raid carried out by officers attached to the Nicobarate Crimes Investigation Unit and the Abanpala Police. 3 chainsaws and a part of a saw along with souvenirs made out of ivory and a small piece of Gajamukta or elephant pearl as well as an elephant tusk were discovered in the possession of the suspects. Police said one of the suspects is a relative of the Grama Niladhari officer who was previously arrested over the incident. The suspects arrested have been placed in remand custody until the 12th of this month after they were produced before the Mahava Additional Magistrates Court this afternoon. Accordingly, 8 suspects are in remand custody over the killing of the Galgamuwa tusker.
A herd of wild elephants roaming in the Mahiyalawa village in Tambuthegam on Wednesday stormed the village last night, destroying farmlands.
The number of elephant deaths caused by human activities are on the rise, so too are the number of people adversely affected by wild elephants.
In this case, the people of Mahiyalawa are not accusing wild elephants, rather they blame the officials.
Many villagers including Talaba, Mahiyalawa, Malwanegama, Kalegama, Kongollava and Tholama in Tambuthegama constantly face wild elephant attacks. Area residents say a herd of around 12 wild elephants roam the area at night. This is the destruction to farmland caused by the wild elephants in the Mahiyalawa village last night. The villagers who were unable to cultivate their paddy land for 2 previous seasons plan to cultivate their lands following the Maha season rains. The villagers had hoped to redeem their loans with this season's paddy production. However, the elephants that enter the village from the Mandagala and Mullagala reserves are jeopardizing their crops. The responsible official is turning a blind eye to their plight, and this is the main problem of the elephant encroachments.
Who will be held responsible when elephants break into the houses and someone dies? We could die and our children could die. We cannot blame the elephants. They are innocent. They go where there is food and they will eat vegetation. We have informed the officials in the wildlife department. We have nothing else to say. Our only relief is from the gods.
A new report as the International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, states South Asia's ambitious plans to meet its climate targets under the Paris Agreement represents $3.4 trillion worth of investment opportunities by 2030.
The IFC report states bankable projects and an attractive investment climate are needed to unlock private investment at the required scale. Creating these conditions will also require strong political leadership and continued, consistent and clear signals to provide certainty to companies and investors. The report identifies $18.4 billion of climate investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. The areas identified in the report includes $2.3 billion for renewable energy, $190 million for large hydro, $8.4 billion for green buildings, $326 million for transport infrastructure, $3.5 billion for municipal solid waste, $2.7 billion for climate-smart urban water, and $964 million for climate-smart agriculture. One initiative the report has identified is a public-private partnership to develop a light rail transit system to cover Colombo and its suburbs to cater for anticipated growing transport demand and encourage a shift from private to public transport. The report goes on to say fiscal incentives to date have not fully overcome perceived political risks and institutional, legal and regulatory constraints which have limited investment.
Building materials were distributed amongst the people in the Tissa Maharama Divisional Jurisdiction today by Deputy Leader of the UNP, Minister Sajith Premadasa.
734 families received material aid, while 24 families received loans at the program.
There are over 2.5 million people in our country who are suffering from the housing issue. During the past era, sufficient financial allocations were not made for housing development. The Treasury did not give any money. The former ministers did not distribute resources. Those of the previous regime have been shouting all over, saying that they were the ones who brought miracles. But the grassroots like you did not receive anything. But those rulers, of course, experienced many miracles.
A group of joint opposition members obtained the membership of the UNP at this occasion.
A function to award Piravan books and scholarships to Buddhist monks was held near the Kaluthura Bodhi tree today.
The program to award a monthly allowance of 1,000 rupees to student Buddhist monks from the Kaluthura and Gaul districts following the final stage of the Piravan education got underway today. The event was held under the auspices of Chief Incumbent of the Amarapura Nikaya, Most Venerable Agga Mahapandita Kotugoda Sri Dhammavasa Thera.
The Ampara Central Bus Stand, built at a cost of 286 million rupees, was declared open today by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Our objective is to bring investments to Sri Lanka and create an economy so we can repay the debt by 2020. By 2025, we aspire to have an economy which will not be burdened. China Merchants Port Holdings and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority have entered into a joint venture. We have saved the debt where China will give us $1.1 billion as their share of the joint venture. This will happen after the 9th. This will be deposited in a separate fund in the central bank. For the first time in a decade, we will have foreign reserves to our name. An Indian oil company and the Civil Aviation Authority will enter into a joint venture that would attract another 200 to 300 million US dollars. When other lands and hotels have been utilized, we can have another 1.5 billion US dollars in our name by mid next year. The account will not have any debt.
The Prime Minister also placed the foundation stone for the construction of the proposed Ampara Town Centre and Museum and declared open the new Ampara Dedicated Economic Centre.
Minister of Petroleum Resources Development Arjuna Ranatunga visited the Temple of Sacred Tooth Relic today.
Arjuna Ranatunga paid reverence to the Sacred Tooth Relic as he celebrates his birthday today. Thereafter, he called on Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Yanaratana Thero, the Mahanayaka of the Asgiri chapter at the Asgiri temple. I did. These constructions are to take place as well, but it has become a difficult task. The businessmen do not favor this. The country is filled with substandard goods. It is impossible to function as a minister. It's been done at filling stations. We send people to chase them away. If we find any filling station that is committing a wrong, we will shut them down. I will not say anything twice. Some have stopped it because they fear the action. If anyone is found to do that, it will not be easy for them to function. There are some good officers. They have been cornered. They are trying to bring the old to get their work done. This system existed for many years. Thereafter, the minister called on the Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thero, the Mahanayaka of the Malwatha chapter, and obtained blessings. We've held discussions with several investors. Discussions are ongoing with 3 investors. We hope to produce 110,000 barrels that are required by the country. But we only produce 32,000 barrels. So if we can build a refinery, we can refine the oil at our very own refinery. That will cost us a lot. We believe the cost will be between 2 to 3 billion US dollars. But if an investor comes in and runs the operation, we can give the operation to them for a few years and obtain the fuel from them. We are planning to have a joint venture. We can make profits through that, and we can have our own refinery without any cost. Discussions are taking place. I will present a cabinet paper in 3 months to decide on the investor.
Making the illustrated headlines tonight is our resident cartoonist Asanga Ladwehetti. The cost of natural disasters is calculated to be 1% of GDP in 2017.
Stay with us for Newsfirst Review 360, where budget proposals aimed at improving climate resilience will be discussed. With that, we wrap our news. I'm Nanel Jawutna.
And I'm Shrin Silva. Take care and good night.